Maya Collins wiped down the sticky counter of the Starlight Diner for the third time that morning. Her hands shook slightly as she worked. In just 7 days, she would be walking down the aisle to marry Derek Stone. The thought made her stomach turn. The diner was quiet at this hour. Only 2 customers sat in the worn vinyl booths. An elderly man read his newspaper while sipping coffee that had gone cold an hour ago. In the corner booth sat a stranger Maya had never seen before. He looked to be in his early 30s with dark hair and calm brown eyes. His clothes were simple but clean. A black jacket, blue jeans, and boots that had seen some wear. Maya approached his table with the coffee pot. "More coffee?" she asked. He looked up and smiled. "Please. Thank you." She poured the steaming liquid into his cup. Something about his voice was different. Most people on New Terra spoke with the rough accent of miners and farmers. This man spoke clearly, like he had traveled to many places. "You're not from around here," Maya said. It wasn't a question. "Just passing through," he replied. "Name's Jake Martinez." "Maya Collins." She hesitated, then added, "Don't get many visitors in this part of New Terra." Jake nodded. Small towns have their charm. Everyone knows everyone. Maya's smile faded. Sometimes that's not such a good thing. Before Jake could respond, the diner's front door burst open. Derek Stone walked in with 2 of his friends, Tony Blake and Sam Rivers. All 3 men worked for Derek's mining company. They were big, loud, and used to getting what they wanted. Maya's heart started racing. Derek wasn't supposed to come by until later. She grabbed the coffee pot tighter and started to back away from Jake's table. "Well, well. Look who's here." Derek's voice boomed across the small diner. "My beautiful future wife working like a common servant." The elderly man with the newspaper looked up nervously, then quickly gathered his things and left. Maya watched him go with envy. She wished she could disappear too. Derek strutted over to where Maya stood. He was a big man with thick arms and a mean smile. His expensive clothes looked out of place in the simple diner. "Maya, honey, I told you that you don't need to work anymore. After next week, you'll be my wife, Mrs. Derek Stone. Doesn't that sound nice?" "I need the money," Maya said quietly. "My family needs the money." Derek laughed and looked at his friends. "Did you hear that, boys? She needs money. As if I won't take care of all her needs." Tony and Sam laughed along with their boss. Maya felt her face burn with shame. "Come here, Maya," Derek ordered. "Give your future husband a kiss." Maya didn't move. "I'm working, Derek. Please don't do this here." Derek's smile disappeared. "Don't make me ask twice." Maya looked around the diner desperately. Her boss, Mr. Harris, was in the back kitchen. He never came out when Derek was around. Everyone in town was afraid of Derek Stone. He owned the biggest mining operation on New Terra. He had money, power, and friends in the government. That's when Maya's eyes fell on Jake Martinez. He was watching the scene quietly, his coffee cup in his hands. Something in his calm expression gave Maya a wild idea. Before she could think about what she was doing, Maya walked quickly to Jake's table. "Sorry I'm late, honey," she said loudly. Then she leaned down and kissed him on the lips. Jake was surprised, but he didn't pull away. After a moment, Maya stepped back. Her heart was pounding so hard she thought everyone could hear it. "What the hell?" Derek's voice was dangerous now. Maya turned to face him, trying to look brave. "Derek, I'd like you to meet my boyfriend, Jake Martinez." Derek stared at her, then at Jake. "Boyfriend? You never mentioned any boyfriend." Jake stood up slowly. He wasn't as big as Derek, but something about the way he moved made the room feel different. "Maya and I have been keeping things quiet," he said. His voice was steady and calm. "I travel a lot for work." "What kind of work?" Derek demanded. "Shipping," Jake replied simply. Derek looked Jake up and down. "Shipping? Like driving trucks?" "Something like that." Tony and Sam moved closer to their boss. Maya could feel the tension in the air getting thicker. "Well, Mr. Shipping Man," Derek said with a nasty smile, "I think there's been some confusion. Maya here is engaged to me. We're getting married next week." So whatever little game you two are playing needs to stop right now. Jake took a sip of his coffee. Maya doesn't seem very happy about that arrangement. What she's happy about isn't your concern, Derek snapped. This is between me and my fiancée. Actually, Jake said, setting down his cup, when someone treats a lady badly in front of me, it becomes my concern. The room went very quiet. Even the sounds from the kitchen seemed to stop. Derek's face turned red. Are you threatening me? Just making conversation, Jake replied. But I think you should show Maya some respect. Derek stepped forward. Do you know who I am? I own half this town. I could make your life very difficult. Jake didn't move. I'm sure you could try. There was something in Jake's voice that made Derek pause. It wasn't fear or anger. It was complete confidence, like a man who had faced much worse things than Derek Stone. This isn't over, Derek said finally. He pointed at Maya. You and I are going to have a long talk later. Don't think your new friend here will always be around to protect you. Derek turned and walked toward the door. Tony and Sam followed him, but not before giving Jake hard looks. After they left, Maya sank into the booth across from Jake. Her legs felt weak. Thank you, she whispered. I'm so sorry I did that without asking. I couldn't think of anything else. Jake sat back, down. Don't apologize, that man had no right to treat you that way. You don't understand, Maya said. Derek always gets what he wants, and he wants me. My parents owe him money, a lot of money. If I don't marry him, he'll take our house, our land, everything. Jake studied her face. How much money? 50,000. Credits. My father got hurt in the mines last year. We had medical bills and Derek offered to help. But nothing is free with Derek Stone. Jake reached into his jacket and pulled out a small device that looked like a credit chip, but more advanced than any Maya had seen. He placed it on the table. What's that? Maya asked. My contact information. If you need help, call me. I can't ask you to get involved in this. You don't even know me. And Derek is dangerous. Jake smiled, and for the first time, Maya saw something in his eyes that made her think he might be more dangerous than Derek Stone. Maybe I'm not as easy to push around as you think, he said. Keep the chip, Maya. Use it if you need to. He left money on the table for his coffee and stood up. It was nice meeting you, Maya Collins. Take care of yourself. As Jake walked out of the diner, Maya looked down at the small device in her hands. She had no idea that the quiet stranger she had just kissed was one of the richest and most powerful men in human space. All she knew was that for the first time in months, she felt like maybe she wasn't completely alone. Maya stared at the small device Jake had left behind. It looked expensive, more advanced than anything she had ever seen on New Terra. The surface was smooth and black, with tiny lights that blinked slowly. She had no idea how to use it. That evening, Maya walked home to the small house she shared with her parents on the edge of town. Her father, Carlos Collins, sat in his wheelchair on the front porch. His left leg had been crushed in a mining accident 8 months ago. The doctors had saved his life, but he would never work in the mines again. How was work today, mija? He asked as Maya climbed the wooden steps. Fine, Papa. Maya couldn't tell her father about what had happened with Derek. It would only make him worry more. Her mother, Linda Collins, came out of the house carrying a letter. Her face looked tired and scared. Maya, we got another message from Derek today. Maya took the letter and read it. Derek wanted to move the wedding up to this Saturday. That was only 5 days away. The letter said that Maya's family had been gracious enough to accept his generous offer, and that all arrangements were being finalized. Mama, you didn't agree to this, did you? Maya asked. Linda's eyes filled with tears. What choice do we have? If we don't pay Derek back, he'll take the house. Where will your father and I go? He can't work. We have no money. Maya felt anger rise in her chest. There has to be another way. What other way? Carlos asked. Derek owns the mines. He owns the bank. He owns half the businesses in town. Who's going to help us fight him? Maya thought about Jake Martinez. She pulled out the device he had given her and turned it over in her hands. What's that? Linda asked. Something from a customer at the diner, Maya said. I think it's some kind of communication device. That night, Maya lay in bed staring at the ceiling. She could hear her parents talking quietly in the next room. They were discussing the wedding plans, trying to figure out how to make the best of a terrible situation. Maya got up and walked to her small desk. She picked up Jake's device and pressed what looked like a power button. The screen lit up with soft blue light. Words appeared, voice activation ready. Say, call Jake Martinez. Maya hesitated. She barely knew this man, but something about the way he had stood up to Derek made her think he might actually be able to help. Call Jake Martinez, she whispered. The device made a soft sound. Then Jake's voice came through clearly. Maya, are you okay? How did you know it was me? She asked. This is a private line. Only you have this number. What's wrong? Maya told him about the letter, about the wedding being moved up, about her parents' fear. Jake listened without interrupting. I'll be there tomorrow, he said when she finished. You don't have to do that. I needed someone to talk to. Maya, there are some things about me that you should know. Things that might help your situation. We'll talk tomorrow. The next morning, Maya went to work at the diner as usual. But when she arrived, Mr. Harris, the owner, was waiting for her with a sad expression. Maya, I'm sorry, he said. I can't let you work here anymore. What? Why? Derek came by this morning. He said that since you're getting married this weekend, you won't need the job anymore. He also said that if I keep employing you, he might have to reconsider his business relationships in town. Maya felt her heart sink. Derek owned stock in several businesses that supplied the diner. If he pulled his support, Mr. Harris would lose money. I understand, Maya said quietly. I'm really sorry, Maya. You're a good worker. If things were different, Maya walked home slowly, feeling more trapped than ever. Without her job, her family would have even less money. Derek was tightening his control over her life. When she got home, she found a sleek black vehicle parked in front of her house. It wasn't like the rough trucks and old cars that most people drove on New Terra. This looked expensive and new. Jake Martinez stood on her front porch, talking with her parents. In the daylight, Maya noticed things about him that she had missed. In the diner, his clothes might look simple, but the fabric was high quality. His boots were well made. The watch on his wrist probably cost more than Maya made in a year. Maya, her mother called. Your friend Jake is here. He's been telling us the most interesting things. Maya walked up to the porch. What kind of things? Jake smiled. I think we should sit down for this conversation. They went inside to the small living room. Maya's parents sat on the old couch while Maya and Jake took the two chairs by the window. Maya, Jake said, I wasn't completely honest with you yesterday. My full name is Jacob Martinez. I own Martinez Interstellar Corporation. Maya stared at him. Even on New Terra, people had heard of Martinez Interstellar. They were one of the biggest shipping companies in human space. You're that Martinez? Maya's voice was barely a whisper. I am. My company handles supply runs to colony worlds like New Terra. We transport food, medicine, equipment, everything that keeps these communities running. Carlos leaned forward in his wheelchair. Why are you here? Why are you interested in our problems? Jake's expression became serious. Because your problems are bigger than you realize. Derek Stone isn't just a local businessman. He's connected to some very dangerous people. Jake pulled out a tablet and showed them pictures and documents. Derek works with a company called Titan Mining Consortium. They specialize in taking over small colony worlds through debt manipulation and intimidation. They offer loans to families and businesses, then use those debts to control entire communities. That's exactly what Derek did to us, Linda said. It's what he's done to dozens of families here, Jake continued. But it gets worse. Titan Mining has been extracting rare minerals from New Terra illegally. They're poisoning the water supply and violating interstellar environmental laws. Maya felt sick. How do you know all this? Because I've been investigating them for months. Martinez Interstellar believes in sustainable development. We want to help colony worlds grow and prosper. Companies like Titan destroy communities for short-term profit. But what can we do? Carlos asked. We're just ordinary people. They have all the power. That's where you're wrong, Jake said. You have something very valuable. You have the truth. And you have each other. Jake turned to Maya. I have a proposition for you. I want to offer you a job. What kind of job? Colony Liaison Coordinator. You would work with my company to help establish better relationships between Martinez Interstellar and the communities we serve. The job requires immediate travel to coordinate with our other colony operations. Maya's parents looked confused, but Maya was starting to understand. If I took the job, I would have to leave New Terra right away, she said. The position starts immediately, yes, and it pays well. Very well. Jake named a salary that made Maya's parents gasp. It was more money than Maya had ever imagined making. But Derek will never let me leave, Maya said. Derek Stone doesn't own you, Jake replied firmly. No one owns you. You're a free citizen of the colonial territories. You have the right to accept employment anywhere in human space. He'll say I'm breaking our engagement contract, Maya said. There is no legal engagement contract, Jake said. I had my lawyers check. Derek has no legal claim on you whatsoever. For the first time in months, Maya felt a spark of hope. But then reality set in. What about my parents, their debt to Derek? Jake smiled. Part of your employment package includes a signing bonus. Enough to pay off your family's debts completely. Maya's mother started crying. Carlos reached over and took his wife's hand. There's one more thing, Jake said. Taking this job means you'll be helping me expose what Derek and Titan Mining are doing to New Terra. It won't be easy and it might be dangerous. Maya thought about all the families in town who were struggling like hers. She thought about the poisoned water Jake had mentioned. She thought about Derek's cruel smile and his threats. When do I start? She asked. My ship arrives tomorrow morning, Jake said. If you're ready to leave, we can be off-world before Derek even knows you're gone. Maya looked at her parents. They were scared but proud. Do it, Mija, her father said. We'll be fine. But you have a chance to be something more than Derek Stone's prisoner. Maya turned back to Jake. I'll be ready. As Jake prepared to leave, Maya walked him to his vehicle. Why are you really doing this? She asked. You could fight Titan Mining without involving me. Jake paused with his hand on the car door. Because fighting injustice isn't something you do alone. It's something you do together. And sometimes the people who have lived through the injustice are the ones who understand best how to fix it. He got in his car and drove away, leaving Maya standing in front of her house with her whole life about to change. Inside, her parents were already making plans. They would tell Derek that Maya had gotten sick and needed medical treatment off-world. By the time he figured out the truth, she would be far away and free. For the first time since Derek had forced her into this engagement, Maya went to sleep without fear. Tomorrow, her real life would begin. Maya had never seen a spaceship up close before. Jake's vessel, the Horizon's Edge, sat on the landing pad outside New Terra's small spaceport like a sleeping giant. It was bigger than Maya had expected, with smooth silver sides and blue lights that pulsed softly along its edges. She's beautiful, isn't she? Jake said as they approached the ship. Maya could only nod. She carried a single bag with all her belongings. Everything she owned fit into one small suitcase. It seemed impossible that she was really leaving New Terra. The ship's crew was waiting to meet her. Captain Lisa Wong was a woman in her 40s with short gray hair and kind eyes. She had been flying ships for Martinez Interstellar for over 15 years. Welcome aboard, Maya, Lisa said. Jake has told us a lot about you. The ship's engineer was a young man named Peter Kim. He looked to be about Maya's age, with oil stains on his hands and a friendly smile. First time off-world? He asked. First time on a spaceship, Maya admitted. Don't worry, Peter said. The takeoff feels strange at first, but you'll get used to it. As the ship lifted off from New Terra, Maya watched through the window as her home planet grew smaller below them. She felt scared and excited at the same time. She was free from Derek, but she was also leaving everything she had ever known. Jake found her in the observation lounge an hour after takeoff. Maya was still staring out at the stars. Having second thoughts? He asked. No, Maya said. Just trying to understand how my life changed so fast. Jake sat down beside her. Maya, I need to be honest with you about something. This job I offered you isn't just about being a colony liaison. Maya turned to look at him. What do you mean? I need your help to stop Derek and Titan mining. You know New Terra better than anyone on my team. You know the people, the places, how everything works. That knowledge is going to be very important. Important for what? Jake pulled out his tablet and showed Maya a map of New Terra. Red dots marked locations all over the planet. These are illegal mining sites, Jake said. Titan Mining has been operating them for 2 years. They're extracting rare minerals and shipping them off-world without paying the colony government any taxes or fees. Maya studied the map. She recognized many of the locations. Some of these are near the town water supply. Exactly. The mining process uses chemicals that are poisoning the groundwater. In a few years, parts of New Terra will be unlivable. Maya felt angry. Derek knew about this? Derek is running the whole operation. He's Titan Mining's local manager. Every family debt, every business loan, every generous offer he makes is part of a plan to control the colony. Maya looked at more documents on Jake's tablet. Financial records, shipping manifests, communications between Derek and Titan Mining executives. The evidence was overwhelming. Why hasn't anyone stopped them? Maya asked. Because no one had proof before now, and because Titan Mining is very good at making people afraid to speak up, like they did with my family. Like they're doing with dozens of families, but Maya, you're not afraid anymore, and you know New Terra well enough to help us gather the evidence we need to shut them down. Their first stop was a colony world, called Haven Ridge. Maya's job was to learn how Martinez Interstellar worked with colony communities. She spent a week meeting with local leaders, farmers, and business owners. She saw how Jake's company helped colonies grow without taking advantage of them. On Haven Ridge, Martinez Interstellar had built a medical clinic and a school. They paid fair prices for local products and hired local workers. The colony was prosperous and independent. This is how it should work, Jake explained as they toured the colony's new solar power plant. We help communities develop their resources, and everyone benefits. It's so different from what Derek does on New Terra, Maya said. That's exactly why we need to stop him. Maya learned that Jake had been building a case against Titan Mining for over a year. He had investigators on several colony worlds, gathering evidence of illegal mining, environmental damage, and financial corruption. But I still need someone who can get me detailed information about New Terra's operations, Jake said. Someone who knows where the secret mining sites are, who can identify the local people involved, who understands how Derek controls the community. That's where I come in, Maya realized. Only if you want to. This could be dangerous, Maya. Derek won't be happy when he finds out you're gone. If he discovers you're working against him, he might try to hurt you or your family. Maya thought about her parents back on New Terra. She thought about all the other families trapped by Derek's schemes. She thought about the poisoned water and the illegal mining. What do you need me to do? She asked. Jake smiled. I need you to help me plan a return trip to New Terra. But not as Maya Collins, the runaway bride. As Maya Collins, the colony liaison, for Martinez Interstellar Corporation. Over the next 2 weeks, Maya traveled to 3 more colony worlds with Jake's team. She learned how to use advanced communication equipment, how to analyze financial records, and how to document evidence properly. She also learned more about Jake himself. He had grown up on a colony world similar to New Terra. His parents had been farmers who struggled to make a living. When a big corporation tried to take over their community, Jake's family had lost everything. That's why I started Martinez Interstellar, Jake told her one evening as they traveled between worlds. I wanted to prove that business could help colonies instead of destroying them. Is that why you helped me? Because you understand what it's like to be powerless? Partly, but also because you reminded me that the best way to fight injustice is to help the people who are living through it find their own power. Maya was beginning to understand that she wasn't just Jake's employee. She was his partner in something much bigger than saving one colony world. On their fourth stop, a world called New Harmony, Maya got her first real test. The colony was having problems with a company that sounded very similar to Titan Mining. Local families were being pressured to sell their land for mining operations. "I want you to talk to the community leaders," Jake said. "Use what you've learned about how these companies operate. Help them understand what they're really dealing with." Maya was nervous, but she remembered her own experience with Derek. She knew how it felt to be trapped and scared. She knew how important it was to have someone who understood. The meeting was held in New Harmony's community center. About 50 colonists attended, including families with children and elderly people who had lived on the world for decades. Maya stood up in front of the group and told them her story. She explained how Derek had used her family's debt to control them. She showed them documents that proved how Titan Mining operated on other worlds. "They start with loans and business deals," Maya said. "They make you think they're helping, but really they're taking control of your lives piece by piece." An older woman in the audience raised her hand. "What can we do? We need the money they're offering." "You can fight back," Maya said. "But you have to do it together. One family alone can't stand up to a big corporation, but a whole community working together can." Maya helped the colonists organize a plan to research the mining company's background and demand better terms for any business deals. She showed them how to document any environmental damage and how to contact colonial authorities if they needed help. After the meeting, several colonists came up to thank her. "You saved our community," one man said. "We didn't understand what we were really dealing with." That night, Jake found Maya sitting alone on the ship looking thoughtful. "You did good work today," he said. "I felt like I was talking to myself 6 months ago," Maya replied. "All those people, trapped and scared, thinking they had no choices. And now? Now I understand what you meant about helping people find their own power. It's not about being rich or having a big company. It's about having the knowledge and support you need to make real choices." Jake nodded. "Are you ready to go back to New Terra?" Maya thought about Derek Stone and all the families he was controlling. She thought about the poisoned water and the illegal mining. She thought about her parents and everyone else who needed help. "I'm ready," she said. "But this time I'm not going back as Derek's victim. I'm going back as someone who knows how to fight." The next morning, Jake set course for New Terra. Maya Collins was going home, but she was bringing with her the knowledge, resources, and confidence to take on Derek Stone and Titan Mining Corporation. She was no longer the scared waitress who had kissed a stranger to escape a forced wedding. She was becoming someone who could help others escape their own traps. Maya stood at the window of the horizon's edge as New Terra came into view. 3 weeks had passed since she left her home world. She was not the same person who had run away in fear. Now she carried herself differently. She had learned things. She had seen other worlds. She knew she was not alone. "Ready for this?" Jake asked as he joined her at the window. "As ready as I'll ever be," Maya replied. "Do you think Derek knows I'm coming back?" "He knows you left. My sources tell me he's been asking questions all over town." Maya felt a chill. "What kind of questions?" "He's been pressuring your parents. He wants to know where you went and when you're coming back. He's also been making threats about what will happen when he finds you." Maya's hands tightened into fists. "He can't hurt my parents. They didn't do anything wrong." "That's why we're going to end this quickly," Jake said. "We have enough evidence to expose Derek's illegal operations, but we need to be smart about how we do it." The ship landed at New Terra's spaceport in the early morning. Maya wore the professional clothes that Jake's company had bought for her: a dark blue suit, good shoes, and a briefcase full of official documents. She looked like someone important. Captain Lisa Wong stayed with the ship, while Jake, Maya, and Peter Kim took a ground vehicle into town. Maya's heart beat faster as they drove through the familiar streets. Everything looked the same, but she felt like a different person seeing it all. Their first stop was the Colonial Government Building. Maya had never been inside before. The building was small and old, with creaky floors and outdated equipment. Jake had arranged a meeting with Administrator Grant Murphy, the elected leader of New Terra's colonial government. Murphy was a tired-looking man in his 60s. He had been trying to keep the colony running with limited resources and constant pressure from Derek Stone. "Mr. Martinez," Murphy said as they sat down in his office. "I have to admit, I'm surprised to see you here. And Maya Collins, too." "Derek, Stone has been looking for you, young lady." "I know," Maya said. "That's part of why we're here." Jake opened his briefcase and pulled out a thick folder of documents. "Administrator Murphy, we have evidence that Derek Stone and Titan Mining Corporation have been operating illegal mining sites on New Terra." Murphy looked through the papers. His face grew pale as he read. "These are serious accusations." "They're not accusations," Jake said. "They're facts. Titan Mining has been extracting rare minerals without proper permits. They've been avoiding environmental regulations, and they've been evading colonial taxes." "How much money are we talking about?" Murphy asked. Maya had helped Jake calculate the numbers. "Based on shipping records, Titan Mining has taken at least 12 million credits worth of minerals from New Terra in the past 2 years. They should have paid the colony government about 3 million credits in taxes and fees." Murphy sat back in his chair. 3 million credits, that's more than our entire annual budget. That money could have built schools, hospitals, and infrastructure, Jake said. Instead, it went into Derek Stone's pocket. Murphy looked worried. "What do you want me to do?" "Derek has a lot of influence. He employs half the people in town." "Want you to start an official investigation," Maya said. "You have the legal authority to examine mining operations and demand financial records. Derek won't cooperate. He'll fight this." "Let him fight," Jake said. "We have evidence that will stand up in any colonial court. But we need your government to take the first step." Murphy agreed to begin the investigation, but Maya could see he was scared. Derek's power in the community was real and dangerous as they left the government building. Maya noticed a familiar truck following them. It was one of Derek's security vehicles. "We're being watched," she told Jake. "I expected that. Derek knows we're here now." They drove to Maya's family home. Her parents were waiting on the front porch. Maya's mother ran to hug her, tears streaming down her face. "Mija, we were so worried," Linda said. "Derek has been coming by every few days asking about you." "What does he say?" Maya asked. Carlos rolled his wheelchair closer. "He says you belong to him. He says when you come back there will be consequences for running away." Jake stepped forward. "Mr. and Mrs. Collins, Derek Stone has no legal claim on Maya. She's a free citizen who took a job with my company." "Derek doesn't care about legal claims," Carlos said. "He cares about control." As if summoned by their conversation, Derek's truck pulled up in front of the house. Derek got out with 4 of his security men. Maya recognized Tony Blake and Sam Rivers from the diner. The other 2 were strangers, but they looked like hired muscle. Derek walked up to the porch like he owned the place. "Well, well, look who's back, my runaway bride." "I'm not your bride," Maya said firmly. "I never was." Derek's eyes moved to Jake. "And you brought your boyfriend. How sweet." "Mr. Stone," Jake said calmly. "I'm Jacob Martinez, CEO of Martinez Interstellar Corporation. Maya is my employee." Derek laughed. "Employee? Is that what we're calling it now?" "It's what we're calling it because that's what it is," Maya said. "I have a job, Derek. A real job that pays real money." "You had obligations here," Derek snapped. "Contracts, promises." "What contracts?" Jake asked. "I've had lawyers review every document related to Maya's situation. There are no legal obligations." Derek's face turned red. "Legal obligations? I don't need legal obligations. This is my town. These are my people. And Maya Collins belongs to me." "Nobody belongs to you," Maya said. Derek stepped closer, his voice getting dangerous. "You cost me a lot of embarrassment, Maya. Running away like that. Making me look like a fool." "That's not Maya's problem," Jake said, moving between Derek and Maya. Derek smiled coldly. "Everything on this world is my problem, Mr. Martinez, including you." "Is that a threat?" "It's a fact. You're not welcome here. Take your fancy ship and your corporate money and leave." "Maya stays," Maya goes where she chooses to go, Jake replied. Derek signaled to his men. They moved closer to the porch. Maya's parents looked frightened. I own the mines where half this town works, Derek said. I own the bank that holds their mortgages. I own the supply companies that bring in their food and medicine. If I decide that someone is bad for business, they find life very difficult, very quickly. Those are definitely threats, Jake said. Those are promises. Maya, you have 24 hours to end this nonsense and come home where you belong. If you don't, your parents will start having problems, big problems. Derek turned to Jake. And you, Mr. Corporate Big Shot, you have 24 hours to leave New Terra. If you're still here tomorrow night, you might find that accidents happen to people who don't belong. Derek and his men got back in their truck and drove away. Maya's mother was crying. Her father looked angry and helpless. I'm sorry, Maya said. I brought this trouble to you. No, mija, Carlos said. Derek brought this trouble. You're just fighting back. That evening, Jake's communication equipment picked up troubling news. Derek had called an emergency meeting of the town council. He was telling people that outside agitators were threatening New Terra's economy. He's trying to turn the community against us, Jake said. Will it work? Maya asked. It might. People are scared of losing their jobs. Derek employs a lot of families. Maya looked out at the town where she had grown up. So what do? We speed up our timeline. Instead of building our case slowly, we hit Derek with everything at once. Jake contacted his ship and other Martinez interstellar vessels in nearby star systems. Within hours, a plan was in motion. Maya, Jake said, tomorrow morning we're going to hold our own town meeting. We're going to show everyone the evidence of Derek's crimes. We're going to offer alternatives to his employment. And we're going to give people the choice Derek never wanted them to have. What if Derek tries to stop us? Then we'll find out if the people of New Terra want to be free or if they want to stay under Derek Stone's control. Maya spent that night helping Jake prepare presentation materials. They had shipping records showing illegal mineral exports. They had water quality reports proving environmental damage. They had financial documents showing how much money Derek had stolen from the colonial government. Most importantly, they had job offers. Martinez Interstellar was prepared to hire dozens of New Terra workers for legitimate mining operations that followed all environmental and safety regulations. As dawn approached, Maya felt nervous but determined. Today would decide the future of New Terra and the future of everyone Derek Stone had been controlling. Whatever happens, Jake said, you should know that you've already won. What do you mean? 3 weeks ago, you were trapped and powerless. Now you're about to stand up in front of your entire community and expose a criminal. You've found your power, Maya. And that's something Derek Stone can never take away from you. Maya looked out at the sunrise over New Terra. Today, she would find out if her home world was ready to be free. The town hall was packed. Maya had never seen so many people in one place on New Terra. Families sat together on wooden benches. Miners, still wearing their work clothes, filled the back rows. Even children had come with their parents. Derek Stone sat in the front row with his security team. He wore his most expensive suit and his coldest smile. Mayor Grant Murphy sat on the small stage looking nervous. Maya stood at the side of the room with Jake and Peter Kim. Her hands shook slightly as she held her presentation materials. Remember, Jake whispered, these are your neighbors, your friends. They know you. They trust you. They're also afraid of Derek, Maya replied. That's why we're here. To show them they don't have to be afraid anymore. Mayor Murphy called the meeting to order. Folks, we're here today because some serious accusations have been made about business practices on New Terra. Maya Collins and Mr. Jacob Martinez have requested time to present their findings. Derek stood up before Maya could move. Mayor Murphy, I think everyone should know who we're dealing with here. Maya Collins ran away from her responsibilities to this community, and Mr. Martinez is an outside agitator trying to destroy New Terra's economy. Several people in the audience nodded. Maya felt her heart sink. Derek has a right to speak, Murphy said. But so does Maya. This is still a free colony. Maya walked to the front of the room. Every eye was on her. She saw Mrs. Peterson, who used to give her extra cookies at the bakery. She saw Tom Garcia, whose daughter played with Maya when they were children. These were people who had known her all her life. "I know what some of you are thinking," Maya began. "You're thinking I ran away because I was scared of getting married. You're thinking, I brought outsiders here to cause trouble." Derek smirked from his seat. "But I want to show you something," Maya continued. She held up a clear jar filled with dark, oily water. "This is water from the well behind the Patterson farm. Tom, isn't that where your cattle have been getting sick?" Tom Patterson stood up. "Yes, I've lost 6 head of cattle in the past month. The vet couldn't figure out why." Maya held up another jar. This one contained water that was crystal clear. "This is water from the same well, but from 3 years ago, before Derek's new mining operation started." She moved to a large board that Jake had helped her prepare. It showed a map of New Terra with red dots marking Derek's mining sites and blue dots showing where people were reporting sick animals, dead plants, and bad water. "Every red dot is a place where Derek's company has been mining," Maya said. "Every blue dot is a place where something is wrong with the water or the soil." People in the audience started whispering to each other. Maya could see some of them, making connections they hadn't made before. Derek stood up again. "That's just coincidence. Mining has always been part of life on New Terra." "Not this kind of mining," Maya said. She showed the audience photographs that Jake's investigators had taken, pictures of mining equipment that looked nothing like the simple machines most New Terra miners used, pictures of chemical storage tanks, pictures of waste being dumped into streams. "These operations are illegal," Maya said. "They use chemicals that are banned on colony worlds. They extract minerals without environmental permits. And Derek has been hiding this from all of you." An older woman named Helen Carter raised her hand. "Maya, how do you know all this?" "Because I work for Martinez Interstellar Corporation now. We investigate illegal mining operations throughout human space. And New Terra has one of the worst cases we've ever seen." Jake stepped forward. "May I address the community?" Mayor Murphy nodded. "My name is Jacob Martinez. My company handles legitimate mining and shipping operations on dozens of colony worlds. What Derek Stone is doing here isn't just illegal, it's destroying your planet." Jake showed the audience more evidence. Financial records proving that Derek had been sending millions of credits worth of minerals off-world without paying colonial taxes. Environmental reports showing that the water contamination would get much worse over the next few years. "In 5 years," Jake said, "parts of New Terra will be unlivable. The water will be too poisoned to drink. The soil will be too contaminated to grow crops." People in the audience looked shocked. Some looked angry. Derek stood up again, his face red. "This is all lies, scare tactics. These people want to shut down our mining operations and put you all out of work." "That's not true," Maya said. "Mr. Martinez has job offers for anyone who wants to work in legitimate mining operations that follow safety rules and environmental laws." Jake nodded. "Martinez Interstellar is prepared to hire 50 New Terra workers immediately. We'll pay better wages than Derek Stone, and we'll do it legally." The room erupted in conversations. People were talking to their neighbors, asking questions, looking confused and hopeful at the same time. That's when Derek played his final card. "None of this matters," Derek announced loudly. "As of this morning, I am the new administrator of New Terra." The room went silent. Mayor Murphy looked shocked. "What are you talking about?" Murphy asked. Derek pulled out an official-looking document. Titan Mining Corporation has filed an emergency petition with the Colonial Authority. Due to economic instability and outside interference, they have granted Titan Mining administrative control of New Terra. Maya felt like someone had punched her in the stomach. "They can't do that." "They can and they have," Derek said with a satisfied smile. "As administrator, my first order is that all unauthorized personnel must leave New Terra immediately. That includes you, Mr. Martinez, and your ship." Jake remained calm. "That document isn't legal without proper review by the Colonial Senate." "The review process takes months," Derek replied. "Until then, I'm in charge." Maya looked around the room. People looked scared and confused. Some were already getting up to leave. "Don't go," Maya said urgently. "This is exactly what Derek wants. He wants you to be afraid and confused." But Derek's security team was already moving through the crowd, telling people the meeting was over. "Everyone go home," Derek ordered. "Report to your regular jobs tomorrow. Anyone caught supporting these outside agitators will be terminated immediately." As people filed out of the hall, Maya felt desperate. Everything they had worked for was falling apart. Jake put his hand on her shoulder. "This isn't over." "How can you say that?" "Derek won. Derek thinks he won. But he just made a big mistake." "What mistake?" Jake smiled grimly. He assumed that Martinez Interstellar was just one company operating alone. What he doesn't know is that we're part of something much bigger. That evening, as Derek's security forces patrolled the streets, Jake made a series of communication calls. Maya listened as he spoke to people on other colony worlds. "This is Jacob Martinez," he said into his communicator. "I'm initiating Code Phoenix. We have a corporate takeover situation on New Terra." Over the next few hours, responses came in from colony worlds throughout the sector: Haven Ridge, New Harmony, Preston Station, and a dozen others. "What's Code Phoenix?" Maya asked. "It's an agreement between independent colony worlds," Jake explained. "When one colony is threatened by corporate takeover, the others provide mutual support." "What kind of support?" Jake showed Maya his communication screen. Ships were already moving toward New Terra from 6 different worlds. Supply ships, passenger ships, and even some with light defensive capabilities. "Economic blockade," Jake said. "Derek's mining operations depend on shipping the minerals off-world. If no ships will carry his cargo, his whole operation shuts down. Will that work?" "It gets better. Each of those colony worlds is also sending representatives to file formal complaints with the Colonial Authority. 50 complaints from 50. Different worlds will get attention much faster than one complaint from New Terra." Maya began to understand. "You're not fighting Derek with weapons or money. You're fighting him with cooperation." "Exactly. Derek and Titan Mining are powerful, but they're used to fighting one colony at a time. They're not prepared to fight an entire network of colonies working together." By the next morning, the blockade was in effect. 3 ships that came to collect Derek's minerals were turned away by the combined fleet of colony vessels surrounding New Terra. Derek was furious. He sent his security forces to arrest Jake and Maya. But Jake's ship was protected by vessels from other worlds. Colonial law prevented Derek from attacking ships from other colonies without starting an interplanetary incident. The breakthrough came when Peter Kim discovered something while monitoring Derek's communications. "Maya," Peter said excitedly, "you need to see this." Peter had intercepted a message between Derek and Titan Mining executives. They were discussing plans to abandon New Terra once they had extracted all the valuable minerals. They were going to leave anyway, Maya realized. All of Derek's promises about jobs and economic growth were lies. "Better than that," Peter said. "Look at this part of the message." The message mentioned that Titan Mining had been deliberately contaminating New Terra's water supply to force colonists to accept their authority. They needed people to be desperate enough to accept any employment, no matter how dangerous. "They poisoned our water on purpose," Maya said, feeling sick. "Now we have proof," Jake said. "This isn't just illegal mining. It's deliberate sabotage and attempted genocide." Maya stared at the message. Derek hadn't just been controlling her community, he had been... Maya stood in the center of New Terra's main square, holding a speaker device that Jake had given her. Around her, hundreds of colonists had gathered. Word had spread quickly about the intercepted message between Derek and Titan Mining. "Friends and neighbors," Maya began, her voice carrying across the square. 3 days ago, Derek Stone told you that outsiders were trying to destroy our community. Today, I want to show you who was really destroying New Terra all along." She held up a printed copy of the intercepted communication. "This is a message from Derek to his bosses at Titan Mining Corporation. In it, he admits that they have been poisoning our water supply on purpose." A gasp went through the crowd. Tom Patterson pushed forward. "What do you mean on purpose?" Maya read from the document. Quote, Phase 2 contamination protocols have been successful. Water quality degradation is forcing increased dependency on company-supplied resources. Resistance to employment terms has decreased by 60%. Helen Carter, the elderly woman who had questioned Maya at the town hall, spoke up. They poisoned our water to make us desperate? Yes, Maya said. They wanted you so scared and helpless that you would accept any job, no matter how dangerous. They wanted you dependent on Derek for everything. The crowd was getting angry. People were talking loudly to each other, pointing at the document, asking questions. Derek's security team was positioned around the edges of the square, but they were outnumbered 20-1. Maya could see them talking nervously into their radios. There's more, Maya continued. This message also talks about Titan Mining's exit strategy. Once they finish extracting all the valuable minerals from New Terra, they plan to abandon the colony completely. She read another section. Extraction completion estimated at 18 months. Post-operation site abandonment will proceed according to standard protocol. Local population relocation is not our responsibility. The crowd erupted. People were shouting, some were crying. Maya had grown up with these people. She knew their families, their struggles, their hopes for the future, and Derek had been planning to destroy it all. Tom Patterson climbed onto a wooden crate so everyone could see him. I've lived on New Terra for 30 years, he shouted. I built my farm here. I raised my children here. And you're telling me Derek Stone was planning to poison my land and then leave us to die? The crowd roared its agreement. That's when Derek Stone himself arrived. He pushed through the crowd with 6 security men, his face red with anger. This gathering is illegal, Derek announced. As administrator of New Terra, I order everyone to return to their homes immediately. You're not our administrator, Maya replied. You're a criminal. Derek pointed at her. You're under arrest for inciting rebellion and interfering with colonial authority. His security men started moving toward Maya, but something unexpected happened. The colonists moved too. They formed a circle around Maya, protecting her with their bodies. You want to arrest Maya? Tom Patterson said. You'll have to go through all of us. She's one of ours, Helen Carter added. And we take care of our own. Derek looked around at the crowd. For the first time since Maya had known him, he looked uncertain. You're making a mistake, Derek said. Without Titan Mining, this colony will fail. There are no other jobs, no other opportunities. You need us. Jake Martinez stepped out of the crowd. Actually, that's not true. Derek spun around. I told you to leave New Terra. I received a better offer, Jake replied calmly. The people of New Terra have asked Martinez Interstellar to help them rebuild their community. Jake addressed the crowd. Yesterday, I received formal requests from 57 New Terra families asking my company to establish legitimate mining operations here. Operations that follow environmental laws and pay fair wages. Derek laughed bitterly. 57 families out of how many? Most of these people still depend on me for their jobs. Actually, Maya said, we took a count this morning. 138 families have signed agreements to work with Martinez Interstellar. That's more than 3/4 of the colony. Derek's face went pale. That's impossible. Helen Carter stepped forward. Derek, you've been lying to us for years, making us afraid, making us think we had no choices. But Maya showed us different. She showed us that we don't have to be victims, Tom Patterson added. We can work together. We can make our own decisions. Derek looked around desperately. His security team was backing away. Even they could see that the crowd was not going to be intimidated. This isn't over, Derek said. Titan Mining has resources you can't imagine. Legal teams, political connections. They'll fight this. Let them fight, Maya said. We have something better than legal teams and political connections. What's that? Maya gestured to the crowd around her. We have each other, and we have the truth. At that moment, 3 ships landed at New Terra's spaceport. But these weren't Titan Mining vessels. They were colonial authority ships carrying investigators and legal representatives. Jake had contacted them using the evidence of deliberate poisoning and planned abandonment. When the colonial authority learned that a corporation was deliberately contaminating a colony world's water supply, they had responded immediately. Within hours, Derek Stone and his security team were under arrest. The fake administrative order was declared invalid. Titan Mining's assets on New Terra were frozen pending investigation. But the real victory wasn't Derek's arrest. It was what happened next. The colonists organized themselves into committees. They formed a water purification task force to clean up the contamination. They created a new mining cooperative that would work with Martinez Interstellar to extract minerals safely and profitably. Most importantly, they elected Maya Collins as their new representative to the colonial authority. "I don't know if I'm qualified for that job," Maya told Jake as they watched the colonists work together to dismantle Titan Mining's illegal equipment. "6 months ago you were a waitress who thought she had no choices," Jake replied. "Now you're someone who helped free an entire colony. I think you're more qualified than you realize." Maya looked around at her community. People were working together, planning for the future, no longer afraid. Children were playing in areas that had been off limits during Derek's rule. Families were talking about dreams they had given up on. "What happens now?" Maya asked. "Now New Terra becomes what it was always supposed to be," Jake said. "A place where people can build good lives for themselves and their families." Maya smiled. "And what about us? What happens to Maya Collins and Jake Martinez?" Jake took her hand. "I think Maya Collins has work to do here, helping her community grow and prosper. And I think Jake Martinez has found a good reason to spend a lot more time on New Terra." "Is that your way of asking if I want to keep working together?" "It's my way of asking if you want to keep changing the world together." Maya looked at Jake, then at her community, then at the future they were all building together. "Yes," she said. "I think I do." 6 months later, New Terra had clean water, sustainable mining operations, and a thriving economy. The colony had become a model for other worlds facing corporate exploitation. Maya Collins was no longer the scared waitress who had kissed a stranger to escape a forced wedding. She was a leader, an advocate, and a partner in building something better. Jake Martinez was no longer just a wealthy businessman trying to prove that corporations could do good. He was part of a community that had shown him what real success looked like. Together, they had proven that the strongest human response to oppression wasn't violence or wealth or political power. It was people working together, refusing to accept injustice and building solutions that helped everyone. Derek Stone had tried to control New Terra through fear and desperation. But Maya and Jake had offered something more powerful: hope, cooperation, and the promise that ordinary people could create extraordinary change. In the end, that was the most human thing of all. Not the ability to conquer or dominate, but the ability to lift each other up and build something better together. Maya stood on the porch of her family's house, watching the sunset over New Terra. The sky was clear, the water was clean, and the future was bright with possibility. She had escaped a forced wedding by kissing a stranger. But she had found something much more valuable than freedom from Derek Stone. She had found her own power, and she had learned that the best way to use that power was to help others find theirs too.